Grand Final, Qualifier number 2, and Warhead Junction is game number 1. It's a best of 5 series, and we got the Bratwurst boys going up against the Svenska pensioners. Guys, the Swedish team, not only did they have an insane run throughout the losers bracket, but they have been crushing it today. And they're actually playing with a sub, as pointed out previously. Cure is subbing in for Svenskas today, so doing well, playing cross-server from North America, obviously. And as we're heading into our first map, the question is, of course, what can they do against a team that so far has been murdering everyone that they faced off against? Yes, they lost the map here and there. They weren't totally dominant, but they always ended up with a pretty clean winner bracket run. And they're, of course, going to try and continue that trend now with a victory in qualifier number 2. The general rules for the qualifiers is we have 6 qualifiers in total. This is the second one for the Banshee Cup. Teams accumulate points as they're progressing through qualifiers, and those points are getting added up to a leaderboard. At the end of the 6 qualifiers, the top teams move on to the playoffs, where they will fight for the prize money of $2,500. All sponsored by Heroes of the Storm Sugar Daddy Kevin, aka Psychiv, who we have to thank for basically 90% of the Heroes of the Storm tournaments that were hosted in the last couple of years, I believe. So yep, Kevin definitely keeping that game alive, putting the backpack on and carrying Heroes of the Storm to some esports glory, at least to an extent. And yep, the only rule in the draft is you cannot draft the heroes twice within the same series. Simple reason why we're putting the rule in: nobody wants to see Genji, Hanzo every single game. It doesn't force too crazy comps. It's not Meta Madness or anything like it. We're not going to have pre-bans anywhere, but it makes things a bit more interesting just in general. So now that we're heading into our first map of the best of 5, we have Genji Tracer taken immediately by the Swedish team, as the boys in blue started things off with a Brightwing pick. So in case they're a little bit confused by the name, yes, they were the Bathrobe boys initially. The initial name was Bathrobe and Enjoyers. One of the dumbest names I've seen in a long time. It also didn't work because it was A, too long for the scoreboard, and B, we already had a team that was called the Enjoyers, so I dubbed them the Bathrobe Boys. Then coming into qualifier number 2, they were like, well, there is already a team that's called the Enjoyers, maybe we should rename ourselves. And they called themselves Bathrobe and Bratwurst, which is longer than the previous name, still doesn't fit the scoreboard, but now we can play around with Bathrobe boys, Bratwurst boys, so yeah, that's kind of what it is. As usual, the geniuses here hailing from Germany, very creative when it comes to their team name. And I guess we should throw the French in there too, because Masquerade is still representing. Thrall banned out, and we're getting a ban on a lot of tanks. Generally, just a lot of melee. With Maka picking as his support Rhaegar time and time again whenever he has the choice, they're getting rid of Rhaegar, but besides that, it's just literally just tanks and bruisers that are banned out. Maiev for Skog, we get Q on Sergeant Hammer, could still swap it, but yeah, interesting developments here in the draft. I mean, we went old school at the beginning with Genji and Tracer, but the ban list alone is highly intriguing. Warhead Junction is always a bit of a weird map as well. And there is Abathur. Okay, good stuff. Abathur in game number 1. It is a slugger time as we're heading into the grand final. And Marke, the final pick, we still need support for them. So let's see what they're getting. Normally when you're talking about Warhead Junction, it's all about the boss at the top lane. That's usually the most important part, and that's how most teams will end the game. Warheads are kind of nice, but that's also a good pick. Lucio to speed things up. Stage is set. Game number 1, everybody. Who takes the lead? Bratwurst boys or the Swedish team? Let's find out. Warhead Junction. Game number 1. Hazorbs. Not on Abathur this time. And Ultralist locked it in. I honestly thought that they would swap heroes around, but no, they're not. Hazo finds himself still on the side lane. So we get Hazo playing Blaze. We got Ultralisk on Abathur, Masquerade, Material, and Dino with Cassia as Death Knight picked Brightwing for the support. On the right side of the map, Max Passion with Tracer for the Swedish team. Skok on Maiev, Mako on Lucio. Cure subbing in today for Svamgrotta is playing Sergeant Hammer with the Advanced Artillery as his level 1 choice. And Gia is playing a Genji. So, aggressive build already from Tyrael, who went into the Ardent Restoration. Masquerade, of course, likely to now go into Judgment. So, they are going to try and blow some of these guys up on the other side. You could still go Sanctification and still go for the more aggressive talent build, but we don't see it all that much. So if you really wanted to go for a hybrid, we are going to figure that out at level 10. But chances are that it will be a play into Judgment indeed. Now, as I already explained a little bit in the draft, obviously you're fighting for the objective here and you're trying to get those warheads to destroy structures. But essentially what wins most of the games on this map is the boss that will spawn at the 5-minute mark up at the top here. So once that you get that boss, sometimes the first, most of the time the second, you can easily end the game. Brightwing got ended too, so did Sergeant Hammer, so each team walked away with a kill here. But the boss is definitely the most important thing. This is also one of the reasons why Sanctification can actually be kind of nice if you are focusing on that boss fight. But with that boss push, usually if you have a couple of heroes still available on the map that can then push with it, you can go for keep and core. Normally with Warheads alone, the fort is already taken out previously. Now obviously this is not true for every single game that's getting played here, but there's a certain theme for sure when we're talking about games on this map. But anyways, the first map, by the way, is determined by us, so by the tournament organizers. We're organizing all of this, and for the qualifier finals, we wanted to make things a little bit more interesting. Normally, it's of course the players that are picking the maps, but at least here for the grand final, we determine the starting map. We have seen Haunted Mines in the past. We've played on Blackheart Spain. Now we are on Warhead. So we've been rotating through this also in the previous tournament in Meta Madness. It's honestly kind of fun. Players asked us to get rid of certain maps that are just too shitty. Hanamura in particular comes to mind here, but with the rest, most of them were fairly okay, so it adds a bit of spice for the starting map and makes it a bit more interesting to watch. Now, with some pressure at the top, the blue team already able to more or less break through that wall. They are also trying to just tunnel back down to the bottom of the map. They, of course, still have Abathur on their team, which means that until level 10 there's no 5th hit point bar that you can use in a team fight. Then the copy comes in and it changes things drastically. But right now, we have the first Warheads being deployed. So, it is Warhead time. And it's also time for Masquerade to get the hell out of dodge. Well, actually, he's going to go for the kill. he's trying at least for a second to take Gia down, which could nearly have worked, went through the tunnel, but once that you have the Abathur symbiote, you of course become fairly dangerous. We get the Regenerative Bite of Steel for Sergeant Hammer, no siege tactics in this case, and Cassia gets the first Warhead. Lucio has 1-2. Down at the bottom, they're still trying to make a play for the third. It's the only one that's still left here. Masquerade, with the help of Abathur, can easily interrupt this. And since Max Passion is starting to run low on the hit points, they have to back off there at least a little bit. Warhead at the top is already being used, Cure therefore being pushed back, and you can already tell that they're focusing their attention towards the top lane a bit. Down at the bottom of the map though, kill against Death Knight. Once again, Brightwing gets sliced into half as Genji is coming in and drops him quickly. So Brightwing is gone. Level 7 should kick in soon for them though, but without Abathur, well, without the Abathur copy, they still have to rely on Symbiote, which is now exactly what Dino is getting to assist him a bit in that push at the bot lane. They also have a Mule now, so Mule can always be super nice, and against Sergeant Hammer pushing up at the top with the added mobility of Hover Siege mode, this is definitely something that they're going to have to use fairly soon. Brightwing also jumping in down here, and they're isolating them away from the... well, they did for a moment, and then they let them slide past here. So Masquerade is trying again. Marker wants to go for it, interrupt him once more, but it's not possible at this point. Up at the top though, while all that played out, Hazops was making a move for Cure and is trying to get the stun. He wanted to trade kills and barely missed out. Abathur helping, but it wasn't enough. Now both of the nukes have been set down to the bot lane and started to take the hit points away from the fort. The rotation towards the top is obviously happening now too. A fairly interesting game here. And Sergeant Hammer is of course playing a big role in all of this. Hazu getting destroyed while he was hoping for a counter kill. added a third kill to the red team. So heavily ahead now when it comes to the kill hound, at least. Heavily ahead by 2 kills, tripling it. 11 stacks also for the Ardent Restoration. It's obviously going to be a big talent for him here. So it's all about like the self-sustain, heal amount, taking also some pressure away from Brightwing. And Masquerade is very, very busy just using the tunnel to move from one lane to another as the teams are aiming for level 10 abilities, where we're going to see revealed what the strategy at the end of the day is for the blue team. What they're going to try and do here as the game continues. But right now we got down to the bottom of the map, still an exposed fort that could theoretically be taken out. We still got to deal with all of these mercenary camps too. And we have another one at the top, as Gia and Max Passion are now moving down. It's obviously the Double Trouble tag team that is trying to get the kill in. And they're also going for Masquerade here. Oh, Genshi here. Hello, my friend. That poly did nearly take him down. Was able to swift strike away, but damn, did he eat a lot of damage there. Topside assistance is there as well now. So easy. Level 10 is ready at the bottom. Blue team still has to wait a little bit longer. But we have them with heroics now as well. Blink heal. There's the Abathar copy. And we get a Valkyrie. Question is just simply, what is Masquerade going to choose? So far we haven't seen anything, and there's Judgment. Judgment, baby! And the bubble for Lucio. So, copy already destroyed. Abathar using it and losing it a second later. But Judgment still up. Could be used. Has to also be very, very careful who he uses it on. With all the mobility that we're seeing on the other side, they can get a bit nasty. So, either way, if they're forcing that fight, the question is, who are they forcing it on? Judgment is in, and Sergeant Hammer is gone. That is the problem when you don't go for siege tactics on level 4. Now, you will obviously still run into trouble one way or another if you're getting polyed, so that wouldn't have helped in that situation, but still, in the long run, maybe something that would have paid off for them. As is, Tracer gets destroyed, so she's gone. Maiev at the top is getting value for the red team, on the other hand. Not able to take the fort down completely, but at least taking it on slowly, steadily, and able to drop the hit points a bit. The problem is just simply that there is a mule, so if you don't destroy a structure, you can't do too much with it. Skorg is trying to steal the camp, which I actually like. It's a pretty sneaky move to make, and it's also working for him, so he is able to pull that off. It doesn't change the fact that the red team just lost a fort down at the bot lane, and has therefore started to lose out on structures. Camp still needs to be dealt with. The fort at the top could also get attacked, since of course the mercenary camp that was just stolen by Maiev is also pinning down some of the minion waves that are coming in, so you can easily add more pressure towards the topside fort. Judgment once again, and another easy kill. This time it's Lucio who becomes the target and gets crushed. Sergeant Hammer wants to take this out. They got Mule in for a moment and is doing their best, but I gotta say, not too shabby. Good kills. And a leading experience now thanks to that for the Bratwurst boys. They go for Maiev and they take her down to 5 kills to 3, and here is a level 13. Boss is obviously already up. Nobody is really going for that just yet. Q is forced back and Abathar takes down Tracer, assisting at the bottom of the map as they are just pushing past the fort. Like all of them diving in. That's a chase and a half if I've ever seen one. Masquerade is going to die and is just going to try and explode on, I suppose, Sergeant Hammer. Yeah. Q are not getting killed by this, but is still helping with the trade. And this is nice damage on that bottom wall, so them being able to go this deep in order to launch a nuke, pretty sexy. Really cool play. Brightwing is finally dealing with this. This has actually taken one tower down in part of the wall here. But it's now 6 kills to 4, 1 level advantage still. And we have 27,000 damage currently for Cassia, 23,000 for Genji. And Cassia is also one of the few that... Abathar doesn't really count. It kind of counts. But yeah, Cassia hasn't died yet. One of the few heroes that finds herself straight in the fights that hasn't died yet. So the fort gets finally destroyed. No Mule can save it anymore. It would be kind of OP. Can you imagine if Mule got a new ability? You get a super Mule or something, can actually build structures? That would be crazy. Or a hero that can build things. But currently the one thing that they gotta worry about is all of those heroes. Kill, kill, kill. It's the 2 for 2 as Blaze and Brightwing get traded for Lucio and Maiev. Cassia falls too, and Cure... yeah, sorry, we're caught on the wrong side of the map, my friend. So it is Tyrael and Abathur against Tracer and Genji now. Oh boy. And still a big camp at the bottom of the map, and they're pinging already, telling them, guys, you need to do something about it or we're going to lose another tower, and also hit points on the keep itself, which we should try to avoid at all costs. So yeah, some damage is going to be done there, which is of course a nuisance. But the question is still, when are we going to see the move for the top? When are we going to see the boss getting attacked there? Now that we are 10 minutes in, death timers are starting to increase a bit, so you can start to make plays after getting a few kills in. And level 16, the talent advantage would maybe allow them to do exactly that. Get some kills. Force it with judgment and then go for it. But now we got the martial law again, we also got the Heraldric reforging, and there it is, the follow-up with the Valkyrie. Valkyrie straight after judgment, and Genji goes down. Tyrael likes to judge people. He's just sitting there. He's so judgmental. Just sits there, comes in, follow-up. There's so many follow-ups that they also have. We had the Poly already earlier. We have the jet propulsion play from Blaze. And now we saw Valkyrie from Cassia. So they're just picking these kills wherever they find them. Yeah, another sweet move for the fort in the middle. So they're taking essentially all of the forts down, and slowly and steadily. The one at the top is still remaining. Dino gets some assistance from Brightwing. Okay, this isn't over yet. Blink heal. They might have gone a bit too deep to try and save Cassia. She goes down, so does Masquerade. And yeah, that was not really worth it, was it now? Bit unfortunate. They were trying to save Dino, which I guess they did. I mean, they were able to do it. The problem is that in the process, they lost too many heroes. And now it's a play for boss. And I told you, this can be a problem very quickly. These bosses are insanely strong. Maybe the 12-minute one is still something that they can deal with. But boss number 2 is usually what goes straight for victory. So they have to defend this, as Abathur has assisted at the bot lane to try and go for the keep down here. But all the way topside, they have now 5 versus 5 and they can't lose anyone. They gotta be super careful around this. And Cassia also needs to get her butt back into base. So yeah, gets the camp. They're applying more pressure to the bot lane, but they have to deal with it. Okay, they got one nuke. One nuke at least, that's gonna help a little bit for sure. So yeah, nuke is in. Drop that slightly, but the keep is still going to be in some trouble. Dino is finally back. They can take this one out. They already moved Ultralisk with his copy straight behind the team. And whoa, there's the Valkyrie into the jet propulsion. Sexy plays, and Sergeant Hammer is dead. And the keep still remains nicely defended, but that was a glorious play that we just saw. They have another look at this. Valkyrie straight into the jet propulsion right there. Bam! Lucio saved it for a moment, but Sergeant Hammer still falls towards the end. And now it's the bot lane that gets pressured, and the blue team is just trying to go straight up for it. They have a 5 versus 4 for a little bit longer. There's already a nuke being deployed though, so that's a bit of a problem. It's a really nice and easy defense. Yeah, that nuke was worth its weight in gold for sure. They still haven't fully given up on this, and the catapult is still kicking, so they can maybe burn this down after all. Particularly since Sergeant Hammer is just now coming back. Is that going to be enough time? Masquerade could sacrifice himself for a good cause and just explode on it, but they don't even need him to. They take the keep out and now can easily retreat. Nice. Judgment! And Lucio is deaded. These judgment plays are just way too much for the Swedish team to deal with. They can't handle it. They really can't. Every single time we see one of these combos come out, they seem to lose a hero. And the gap is not that crazy. It's 12 kills to 9. So the Swedish team is fighting back nicely. But I'd be lying if I didn't acknowledge that the blue team is just calling the shots. There's a couple of moments where they may be brain farting slightly. Losing 2 when they were trying to save Dino was a bit of a problem. Obviously, that just didn't come together for them. But now they're also getting one Warhead after another. They're picking up 3 in that particular rotation. Genji... actually, no. Genji is able to interrupt. might still not be able to get it. The problem is, of course, level 20, which is going to come up next now. So getting those Storm Talents are going to be big as well. And they will get them. They're even invading now, trying to go for the kill here. And can they catch Skog? The answer is yes, they can. Skog is gone, and so are their hopes of saving that top side, I guess. There's another nuke that they can already deploy. Judgment! And a couple more stuns are coming in, but I think this time they asked for a bit too much. They got 2 nukes here that they could use. Could easily drop them, but are resisting so far. Honestly, I'm not quite sure what exactly they want to use those nukes for. Maybe they want to use them with the boss that... Okay, there we go. First nuke gets dropped. They try to go for the keep, zone the opponent away too. That thing is already down to 50% HP. Tracers coming in. It's the same game that we've seen before. They're just sieging up, even into Sergeant Hammer, and are starting to poke. Dino, particularly with the assistance of Abathar, is just getting so much damage out. It's ridiculous. 65,000 damage for Cassia at this point. 43,000 for Sergeant Hammer. So yeah, Cassia is absolutely running the show there. Tracer gets destroyed. They even got another nuke that they could use, even if it's just used to zone Cure out a bit. But they don't have to. They go for keep number 2. They take it out. Bot lane is already pushing. And thanks to level 20, they can now go for also the next nuke. Boss is, by the way, up in another minute. So if with that they take the boss, this would likely end the game. I mean, already there's enough pressure at the bot side. They're moving into the middle now to try and take the wall out. But with 2 nukes to their name, and also a numbers advantage, going for a boss at the top would be ideal. I mean, okay, by the time that the boss spawns, Tracer's back too. And with the 2 nukes, they can go for the keep. So if they get catapults just on the core, that would be the dream. Copy, Blaze copy is gone. Judgment is in, and Sergeant Hammer is getting murdered. The hammer has been dropped, and so will likely keep and core. Keep is already about to fall here, as you can see. This is the final one, so that leaves only the core standing. And they are absolutely farming them right now. The Bratwurst boys are going through the Swedish team like hot butter through cheese, taking one kill after another without any problem whatsoever. Brightwing herself with the kill on Maiev and Lucio. The core is at 60%. 5-man team wipe, and they get completely rolled here. So yeah, this is game. The blue team with the lead in the best of 5 series. They're able to take the W on Warhead Junction, and therefore the lead in the grand final of the second qualifier for the Banshee Cup. GG, well played. Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV. Okay, Towers of Doom. Bratwurst boys in the lead against the Svenska pensioners. So, controversial opinion right there. Already dropped it on Twitch chat earlier, but I am not the biggest Towers fan. There it is. Yes, I'm totally aware Towers is the comeback map. We had some insane games on Towers, and some of them are incredible, don't get me wrong. In this tournament, we had just a fantastic Towers game. But generally speaking, every single time we're heading into Towers, I am... just... the first half of the game just feels like it is absolutely meaningless. It feels so weird. It just feels you go through the motions, around the altars, around the camps, and it just doesn't mean anything. And then the second half can be either amazing, or it can be just, you know, like a full steamroller. The amazing games, obviously, they really stick with you, but it's the first half that sometimes just kills me inside, where I'm just like, okay, next altar, alright, they are ahead, is it gonna matter, who knows? And yeah, I don't know. While we have some amazing games on this map, and while some of the best games that I've commented have definitely been played out on Towers of Doom, I honestly prefer other maps. If you would give me the choice to pick 3 maps that I would like to see a series on that goes, you know, like 2-1, Towers of Doom would not be one of the maps that I'm going to pick. I wouldn't remove it from the pool, but it is not in my top 3. So, yeah. Anyways, discuss. We have the lead for the blue team. It's a best of 5, of course. And now Vikings get banned by the OG Vikings. So, yeah, not okay with that. Jojo also gets the ban hammer. still could for a second I was about to say like we could still see something like Samuro, because I'm so used to now Sven and some others either playing Samuro or the Vikings, and now Vikings get banned, but I don't think that anybody on the side of the Bratwurst boys is going to play Samuro here. Ultralisk could. Ultralisk has played Samuro in this tournament series, but I don't think that he's necessarily going to play it here. Would be happy if he does, but I don't really see it. Medivh gets banned. And again, I see a Medivh ban, and I'm like, ah, they banned it against Macke. And then I'm like, no, he's playing support. Yeah, I know, I'm a broken record at this point because I'm just keep talking about it, but yeah, it is still strange. And it's gonna take me at least another 2 tournaments until I'm at a point where I can accept that Macke is actually playing supports and not look at his normal heroes that I expect from him. So, Skog on Diablo is gonna try and bully people around. The OG bully, push them in walls. One of the most satisfying things, honestly, was when D.Va got announced. That trailer was, by the way, on the one hand insanely glorious, and on the other hand completely stupid and ridiculous and totally dumb. But when you had that battle between Diablo and Genji, and then at some point Diablo comes in and just like crushes Genji's head into a wall, that was amazing. Then of course the ridiculous part of the trailer happened, that's when D.Va appeared. But every time I see Diablo, you know, just like slamming somebody in a wall and just bullying them around, I have that picture in my head right there. So yeah, Dibbles, the OG bully, just like crushing people 6 days to Sunday. Uther and Dehaka. Interesting in the sense that Uther can of course now be played as a solo support, but he could also be played as a main tank, swapped over to Masquerade, and they could then get a second healer. So there's a few choices of what they can pull off with this. So an interesting start into the draft. I like it when you have a hero that can fill multiple roles and then you adjust on the fly and a bit flexibly. Also keep your opponent guessing. The example that I always bring in is ETC in the times of HGC, when you could play him either as a side laner with Stage Dive and Echo Paddle, or you played him in a main tank role and used Mosh Pit. So Uther finds himself in a bit of a similar situation now if he gets picked early, because they don't quite know what you're going to get, what they're going to do with it. They have several options of how they can approach it. Rhaegar for Macke, that was bound to happen eventually. If you remember, in game number 1 they even banned Rhaegar. Macke has been playing him wherever he could. They obviously are calling their bluff here a little bit. They're just saying, okay, if you want to go for double support, what are you going to do? Why are you going to play double support? You're going to do it because you want to play Vala and auto attacks on Towers of Doom. So we're just banning her out, and then you can do whatever you want. If you still want to play double support, hey, be our guest, but at least it's not Vala that we got to deal with. So unless they're willing to drop, I don't know, Sul'jin or someone else crazy, it's going to be a solo support. And since Masquerade is locking in Stitches, we know what we're getting. Gorge Gust combo. Stitches hook into the Dehaka Tong into Uther stun. Already a lot of synergy here. And the global with Falstad, of course, too. On top of that. Now, final double pick for the Swedish team. 4 Swedes and an American. And, well, we're getting Urel and we get Tychus. Yeah, apparently they're trying to burn down Stitches. Okay. With Tychus they can do a lot here, but Masquerade is going to YOLO out those hooks one after another. And he's been pretty good on that hero. There's multiple teams that have actually banned Stitches against Masquerade on maps like Towers of Doom, and I believe the other one was Tomb of the Spider Queen, where they got rid of him. And we get Samuro, he actually does it. He does it. Oh, okay, awesome, great. I called it earlier, if anybody is going to do it, it's going to be Ultralisk. Didn't think he would do it in this particular series, but I'm very happy that he does regardless. Towers of Doom, and there's our Samuro pick, and with that we can head into the second game of the best of 5. The blue team on the left with Hazorps on Dehaka. We got Masquerade on Stitches, Death Knight on Uther, Ultralisk with Samuro going on level 1 now also into the Way of Illusion. And we get Dino on Falstad playing the birdie in our second game of the best of 5. On the right side of the map, Cure with Urel. We have Macke on Rhaegar, Max Passion on Tychus, Gia on Hanzo, and Skog is playing Diablo, going into Feast on Fear as his level 1 talent. Ooh, and we have a range increase. Press the advantage for Tychus. Normally when you see that, it's a follow-up in the rhythm on level 4. I'm actually very curious now to see how he's going to do this, because, again, normally you would go for normal stacking within the rhythm. But then at the same time, we have, on the other side, Stitches, who has now also gone into Hungry for More. So with that, he's going to try and boost his max hit points as much as he can, get the synergy with Devour going, too. So, could be highly interesting. And Max Passion has to make a choice here at some point, of course, how he's going to play this. The bigger they are, to try and burn them down, try to get the extended duration on his minigun. What's going to be the play here? Stitches himself with those hooks, gonna go for Gorge very likely, and then with level 13 also going to add the extended range. And try to get, of course, those monster hooks out of nowhere. But first, Masquerade might die, and does. So that's first blood right there. Well done. He's gone. Easy kill. Masquerade goes the way of the Dodo Bird. Hazops is just dragging Q around a bit, and Ultralisk is already starting to work the first few towers here. So already doing what Samuro does best, piss people off. Nicely done. But yeah, a couple of first initial globes have been taken by Masquerade as well. He's sitting at 2. Again, has obviously a bit of a movement speed through that talent on top of that, and is going to get more as he picks up more globes. But at least for the early game, we got the Swedish team doing pretty okay. About it, level 4. After they get their own camp, I guess. Gia for a second, trying to hearth here. Need some mana. Yeah, don't have level 4 just yet. Samuro is still whacking around here. But look at Death Knight. We're firmly behind the gate. I'm going nowhere. There's the level 4 talents, he sticks it out with the bigger they are. So yeah, they're not going to go for the extended minigun range, despite the fact that we have pressed the advantage. It's still going to help him, of course, to stay at a safe distance. On top of that, though, ooh, there's already a bit of a bullying play by Diablo as he's trying to go for Masquerade again. Looking for the kill. Hook missing. Yeah, Masquerade hoping that he gets somebody a bit closer to the tower range too, but that didn't work. And now the Brad team is starting to push in even further. Get those pumpkins connected again, stunning out Uther for a moment. Oh, Gia hops back out, and they are still fine and safe. Okay, good stuff. But yeah, early game shenanigans by both of the teams here. And we keep our eye on Masquerade as the game continues. Again, the beauty of having the bigger they are is just simply that the Devour synergizes with it too. But obviously, the higher the hit points for Masquerade, the more also the bigger they are comes into play. So he's going to try and burn those extra hit points down as much as he can in those fights where they will focus on that. We have 1 altar already channeled, and it seems like we're going to get likely 2 for the Swedish team. They gave up the one in the middle, and now that Tychus has appeared up at the top, Irel gets some help, and that means that Ultralisk might be able to annoy and delay them a little bit longer, but eventually this is going to happen. Max Passion is going to channel, and that's 2 out of the 3 altars that we were now able to get, so yeah, nicely done. But again, Samuro in the late game, that's something that we also want to have a look at. Ooh, hook against Tychus, successful, and he's gone. That's the first kill for the Bratwurst boys. Okay, bit of a sausage fest over here. We got crushing blows, we got the hand of protection already, and party time with those pumpkins. And it's not even Halloween. Yeah, it's gonna take a while. Samuro, Irel might sniff that out. Actually, Cure doesn't. Isn't even curious where exactly Samuro is. So yeah, doesn't see that. Gets dragged again. I kind of love Dehaka. If you have a good Dehaka player that has a tongue like a homing missile and just like YOLOs it out over and over again, Hazops just demonstrating for us for a moment how to not do it. So yeah, this is how you not do it. You need to connect it as he's shown previously. Falls are now flying in down at the bottom of the map too, or at least going for that barrel roll as you might have seen on the minimap, and Dino's promptly rewarded with a sweet death, goes down, and that's the second kill for the red team. This is looking at least initially a bit better than what we've seen on the first map. I mean, again, playing in game number 1 without a real tank and playing Maiev in this weird main tank role is always a bit awkward. They were trying to, of course, play a pretty heavy control game and leveraging Sergeant Hammer, but it didn't work. They had no real answer for these judgment combos that Masquerade busted out after level 10 with the rest of the team. So that was a huge issue. Urel, yeah, still rotating between the lanes, and at the bottom of the map with a single altar in play, the channel has happened. Marke is getting the shots fired, and that puts the blue team down to 28 points. But Samuro still applies pressure. They don't have level 10, they don't have Gorge yet, but they are still annoying them with a hook whenever they can. And that's kind of what we're seeing right here. So, well, with Samuro still going up against Urel at the top. We have him now trying to take care of the minion waves here too. Samuro is just so annoying to go up against. It's honestly ridiculous. Hazu, yeah, he's dead. No! He actually found a gap? I thought they would just body block him to death. No, he popped the essence and he found a gap that he could squeeze through. Good for him. We have again Apocalypse for Diablo, so it means that technically you can go Hanzo Arrow into Apocalypse. On top of that, we are also looking at Gorge. And there was the play attempt at a monster combo that didn't work out for them. Divine Shield didn't even have to be used, but that's always going to be the panic button for Uther whenever that combo comes out. And, well, Gorge obviously another tool in their tool belt, and they're using it against Diablo. Against the big boy. What the fuck was that? What the hell, Dino? Alright. So, here comes the Gorge, then they isolate him, and then Dino is like, nah, not today. Nope. Guys, these are next level plays that you're seeing here. These are the plays that nobody expects. The opponent doesn't expect them, and your own teammates don't expect them either. That's the beauty. Nobody sees them coming. That's the one play that nobody was even thinking about. So, yeah, this is a big one. I think they paid him off. Personally, I think they paid him off. Arzops is going for the channel now. Dino has his gust back. Normally I would say that is good news, but after that play I'm not so sure anymore. We also have 20 stacks for Stitches, which means he has another 5% movement speed, which obviously is helping heavily too. Arrow and Apocalypse. Yeah, but a nice unstoppable here. Prevent from Uther. Oh, yeah, Dibbles gets out, gets actually hooked into the wall. They're a little bit unlucky with some of these players, I gotta say. That could have been a kill against Diablo. 24,000 damage now for Hanzo. 18,000 for Falstad. Topside, Ultralisk still pressuring camp after camp. Again, he's all over the place. He's all over the map. Time and time again here. We are already 8 minutes in. We've only seen 3 kills. So yes, this is a bit more of a slower game. But with 32 points on the core of the red team and 24 for their opponents, there is an advantage for the Svenska boys. Now, with 13, the hook range is going to get increased, and this is where Masquerade is going to have some real fun. Can get those hooks out of nowhere. So, we'll see. Maybe right now, is he already YOLOing out the first? He could. Yep, and oh, both Diablo and Tychus are diving out of the way at the last possible second. That hook was already scratching their skin. It was nibbling. That would have been a kill too. And you know that for sure, because again, the Gorge would have been there. They were close to the bell tower. Talking about bell towers, up at the top, this one has already taken a decent amount of damage because, yep, Samuro is just not letting up on any of that. So, in the meantime, we have a Gorge against Diablo. They like him. They really do. And he gets pushed over and immediately pushes his way back out. No, Dino, don't do it. Don't do it, Dino. Falstad getting into position immediately for that gust. And it's just like, no. Alright, so yeah, this time no saving. Diablo, he saved himself. Trying to go for a cure here in the back. A fight is actually spreading out over the entire screen right now. But in the back, Yeah, Ultralis got some good damage in against Hanzo, who needs the Ancestral and gets it, but there's another drag, and Diablo is going to die, losing his stacks. Samuro is moving over to the first one of the altars, is channeling it, and they might even be able to go for a second one. They got a lead in experience right now. Samuro still moving out there. Death Knight has to be a bit careful. He's starting to drop rather low, has a Divine Shield, doesn't even have to use it though. So here's Dehaka still in the middle. Could go for another attack. Hazu is waddling away with his hero as they are trying to, first of all, use Uther to tap the fountain bot lane. Still threatening the channel in the middle. And Dehaka is going to the top in order to get themselves a bit of an experience lead. Yeah, this time the Gust is way better. Can they kill Maka though? I don't really think so. With 16 Pulverize, maybe, but yeah, they just didn't have any proper follow-up. But that Gust was way better. This is how you're trying to do it if you're isolating somebody. So, by now, bit of an experience lead. The channel has also happened. Another 4 shots are fired, and that means that the teams are tied. 24 to 24 points on the core now. Damage output, we get 38,000 for Hanzo, 29,000 for Falstad. And Samuro is also sitting at 28k and is actually using Kuyo as his personal damage padding tool. 16 is getting closer and closer, and Hanzo is also starting to drop real low here. Another Gorge is ready in a couple of seconds. The APOC play, not quite. Good idea here, not really a worse spot to use it either. Zoning them off completely, but not able to do anything big. And now they're trying to get the pumpkins, but yeah, but that's how you hook and gorge Odin. Stitches is a big boy with a big stomach, and he even can swallow up a mech. So that is Tiger's destroyed. Now Pulverize is ready, which is going to happen every time. Well, it's going to be used every time we see a hook, and the follow-up slow is of course fantastic for others on your team to try and get some hits in. But those are the kills that you want. Get Tigers down, dominate the map. Now it's a triple altar phase 2. Samuro is already back up towards the top side and is just trying to do his thing for that fort, which they can do with the pumpkins. So they're taking that quickly, and it's maybe not going to give them the top side bell tower immediately, but it's going to get them a huge step into the right direction. Down here, Make, you could channel. Top left, Samuro is currently doing. Top side bell tower on the right, again, has nearly been destroyed. Hooks are now flying, and Make can at least be interrupted by a good Pulverize, and there we have it. So, Yrel is alone. She's going up against 2 right now, which is obviously a problem. Arrow used at the bottom of the map as they were trying to go for Make after he got gorged. But Samuro is channeling here, and Cure is so low, he should really have... yeah, careful, my friend. Down at the bottom of the map, Hanzo is dead. Divine Shield had to be used. Dehaka moved back down after initially he was together with Samuro trying to take Yrel out. So now Max Passion with the beautiful Ancestral is kept alive slightly longer and is trying to make his way back out of this, but I don't think he's going to survive. It shouldn't be possible for him. So Tigers is gone. Samuro at the top can start the channel again. Yrel came in, but we'll still have to deal with all of this. And since the red team is now outnumbered, we're going to see the blue team rotate back over and start to get another altar, which would be 3 out of 3 if they get this one as well, which everything points towards now. 5 kills against 2, 16 points on the core for the red team. Here comes the play right now as they're starting to make a move for Rhaegar, and they just barely miss the kill, but they get the altar. Yeah, Hanzo's a little bit too late with that hit. And now we have 12 points remaining for the red team. So, good news for the Bratwurst boys. The blue team with also 36 stacks now for Masquerade. Again, pretty big. That puts you immediately at a heavy hit point pool, good movement speed, and he's going to get another 5% the second that he hits 40. So that's going to be big if you get the Gorge and then just try to run away from the opponent. So yeah, a lot that he can do with that. slowly and steadily working towards 1,000 extra hit points. It's going to take him a bit longer, but again, he's on a good path towards that goal. And with 3 more, that movement speed again matters whenever you are hitting a hook and follow up with Gorge. And those hooks are becoming more dangerous now. Ever since level 13, he has the range increase and can leverage that. Topside bell tower has now been taken, which means it's 5 bell towers against 3. And to be absolutely honest with you, the red team is nowhere near getting their own bell tower conversion. It's not like they've done any massive damage on one on the side lanes, so all they can hope for is try and retake the top right. That's pretty much that. Level 20, soon ready, but there's a hook, there's a Gorge, and the follow-up stun from USA. They just need the damage, and they're getting a lot of it out. Ancestral to save Skog, so they force out the ult here. Another hook is already coming, but you can really tell how this is every time a problem when Stitches connects a hook. And Urel at the top is now getting attacked. She's trying to desperately keep those pumpkins in check. Should be able to make it as well. But Hazel is doing the best he can in order to annoy her until the very end. And gets the drag straight into the bell tower. Cure in real trouble and has to... I was about to say has to pop his ult, but it doesn't have the cooldown anymore. So now 5 shots are fired thanks to the bell tower that got channeled. Cure could have died there. But at the end of the day, he accomplished everything that he wanted to do. He was able to take the pumpkins out, and he survived. This is more than we can say from Max Passion. We get slammed into the ground by Stitches. Stitches slam. Pulverized within a second. Level 20 talents, obviously a beauty. With that, we get the Master Hooker. 3-bladed style. Also, Nexus Frenzy for even more damage from Falstad. Yeah, they still bring those hooks out, but it's 7 points on the core for the Swedes. Which means single digits. Single digits, still 1 level until they have 20. So the boss is up, could theoretically be taken. The next altar is gonna spawn at the bottom of the map. And now that they're starting to move towards the top, it can only mean 1 or 2 things. They're gonna try for Cure, or they're gonna move for the boss. And I think they wanted to go for Cure, but he's not gonna fall here. He doesn't have his ult, fair, but still, this is not happening. Boss might be happening, but they're not really willing to commit to it, as it seems. So, well, there we go. 44 stacks also for Stitches, so he has that movement increase that we mentioned earlier. And I believe he needs roughly 6 more, and then he's gonna have the 1,000 hit points. 59,000 damage for Falstad. Top damage in the game. Not bad for the birdie. The chicken. Oh, shouldn't talk about chicken right now. I'm getting hungry again. Been here for a while. Level 20. Okay, there it is. So now it's even fights again. Bullseye is ready. And we're getting the bob and weave. Alright, so arrow missing completely. Gia not able to connect it with anyone. Bit unfortunate for them. There was a big tool in the arsenal here. Pumpkins are making it through the bottom of the map. If those pumpkins connect with the core, then this altar might end the game. Oh, Divine Shield keeping Falstad alive. There's the drag, Diablo! And he's dead. Diablo down, but he had his souls at least, so he will be back in a bit. 3 shots connect with the red team's core, which means the altar needs to be won. If the Swedes cannot win the altar, then they lose the game. Urel has to use their ult, still trying to go for Dino, but instead just gets gobbled up. So yep, they try to go for Q again. Immediately the Ancestral is out. Just save after save, and now it is Masquerade who is in the corner and is about to die. I actually did already. So they were trying to channel here. That's not happening. 4 points on the core against 24, and the red team can hold on to this series a bit longer as they get 3 shots fired against their opponents. 21-4. Numbers advantage thanks to Stitches being destroyed. Bell tower advantage obviously for the blue team that, yeah, they need to at least retake this one. That should at least be the goal, but I guess they want to remove the boss first from the map as an optional tool, because with 4 points missing, if the boss at any point gets taken by the Bratwurst boys, then it's obviously game over. So you have to remove it. That's just the thing that you need to do. And, well, they've done it now. 4 more shots fired, meaning 17 points against 4. And now the chance with a double altar for the blue team again to win this. Yeah, it's all a question of what's going to happen when Masquerade comes back, because once Stitches is back to business, a good hook and Gorge could again give you the numbers advantage and then win the game. They're retaking at least this. That can't really be dealt with. Harzorps is already going for the next camp. They're applying the pressure again at the top side bell tower. And we also have Samuro just continuing to do his thing. Solid damage output for him too. He's at 58,000. So 72,000 for Falstad puts him into the driver's seat on the leaderboard. But we still get very good damage from Samuro as well. And yeah, there's the double altar. And only one is needed. And I mean, technically guys, you have two globals, you have Gust. There is a lot that they can try and do here in order to just sneak one in. You can sneak it in with a Divine Shield. You can literally cheese the shit out of it. Just start the channel, Uther drops the Divine Shield, and you go for the win. It's all that you gotta do, essentially. The red team has to absolutely cover in order to prevent that from happening. And if if Uther would just drop a Divine Shield on Samuro when he starts the channel, or shortly after, you have to time it properly, of course, then it's immediately game. But now that Hanzo's already down, now that Begaya gets also a hook on Tychus, who might fall, gets saved by the Ancestral, but the situation is still the same. It is a bit of a disaster. There is a huge opportunity now. You can still use Divine Shield to cheese it. You can also just win the team fight. I mean, however you do it, you're going to go for the win here. The hook connects, Pulverize is in. They're getting them dropped low, and very quickly at that, the birdie flies in deep, gets the Divine Shield, but they take down Macke. That is the end of Rhaegar, and it will be the end of the game as Diablo dies again. Harzorps can now easily go for the channel, as does Ultralist. They're chasing Max Passion down with another hook. They take Tychus down 2, and it is only Cure surviving. Diablo is back to business at least, but obviously that is going to be game, or at least it should be. 13 points to 4. One channel happened at the bottom of the map in favor of the red team, but now they lost Diablo again. Masquerade gets gobbled, not Masquerade, Yrel gets gobbled up, and that's game. They take the entire team down, and this is a 2-0 lead for the Bratwurst boys against the Swedes. Nicely done. Towers of Doom, the W for the blue team. Match point number 1, 2-0 lead for the Bratwurst boys in our grand final for qualifier number 2 here at the Banshee Cup. So, Swedish team, couple of good moves, don't get me wrong. It's the first tournament that they participate in. It's a newly formed team with a lot of players that have taken a hiatus from Heroes of the Storm and now came back for the tournament. And they reached the grand final, which in and of itself is already a huge accomplishment and will really help, of course, to qualify them for the playoffs, at least potentially. Then again, they go up against the favorite for sure. This is a team that is basically the who's who of the Heroes of the Storm top scene right now. They kind of merged there a bit together. So Chen gets banned against Max Passion, Rexa gets banned against Hazu. So everybody's just going for some very quick bans against preference picks on the other side. But yes, the blue team was always the favorite heading into this particular qualifier here now as well. We have seen them lose a few maps in the winner bracket, but at least as of now, in the grand final, they have not dropped a single map, and they could also close this out with this 3-0. They were the ones that chose the map. The opponent, the red team, they decided after the loss on the previous game that they want to have first pick, first ban, and let's see what that is going to result in. I mean, first of all, we have now Jojo banned out, and we have also Chen banned out. Chen clearly targeting Max Passion. Frontline, they don't want to give Skog, Joanna. And since we are now in the third game, it also means that 20 heroes are not available any longer because they've been played before. And they actually start things up with Hogger for the top lane. Top lane will be interesting in the context of Rexa being banned out as well. So you have to think a bit, okay, who are we actually going to play there? Who are we going to use in that situation? But for me, it's a little bit of a look towards Ultralisk too, to figure out what he is going to play. And unless I'm mixing my series up here, Maiev, yeah, Maiev can't be played there anymore because Maiev was actually banned in, played in the first game. Played as a main tank, so to say, by Skork. Didn't really work out for them, but it also removed Maiev, so I guess that was the good news. You could still go for Kerrigan, of course, if you wanted to. You have Mirrodin right now in a position where he can lead with a Stormbolt, then he can follow up very easily. And with Zeratul already taken, we get Cure again on one of the heroes where he excels at and where he did very well in previous games too. So Stukov comes in, played by Marke. That lurking arm follow-up. Question is, what are you following up on? They still need a stun. They need someone that does some work here. It's interesting also that Hoga was picked by Skork. So is someone else going to pick a frontliner? Kind of don't see it. Probably Skork, they're probably just swapping heroes around later. But I'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, the ban, the final one is coming in. They're getting rid of Chromie. Could they? I don't think that they're going to go into some Void Prison, Jaina, Ring of Frost shenanigans, trying to go for wombo combo, particularly with Anduin on the other side. I don't really think that is going to happen. But yeah. Whenever I see Zeratul, immediately, of course, you think Might of the Nerazim and think about somebody really just doing all of the work by just jumping in, out, getting a quick cleave through the damage, singularity spike. But I'm not quite sure what exactly their game plan is. I'm still waiting for something that Stukov can follow up on and then also need a damage dealer that Zeratul can vibe with here. But Imperius is now getting banned. That would be an additional stun, and as they've been running a lot of CC trains, Mirrodin stun into Imperius Lunge would be fantastic, but they're not going to get that here. So Hazu opts for the side lane. His options are starting to be limited. We are still getting Kerrigan though. Kerrigan, I suggested her a second ago, she is indeed getting picked. And we now have Dainu on Sonya. That leaves us with Hazu as the final choice. And we don't have a range damage dealer for them yet. Anduin doesn't count. He just throws light around. That doesn't count. That's not a thing. But the final two picks for the red team, as they are rounding out their draft. Of course, blue team can still swap heroes around. They don't have to have Hazu in a range damage dealer position. Varian in Li Ming. Okay, Varian with a quick taunt, and then Stukov with a follow-up. Zeratul Li Ming. Yep, that is definitely tying the draft together very nicely. Sniper composition from them. If they get those good connects, it's going to be fantastic for them. But Anduin is going to attempt to pull targets out whenever they get taunted before the damage connects. And what exactly is now the blue team going to choose in order to answer to all of this, to get the victory on Dragonshire? And it's Junkrat. Junkrat is ready, so are we. Game number 3 coming up right now, the first match point for the blue team. The third game of the series of the grand final at the second qualifier of the Banshee Cup. And on the left, Hazops with Sonya. We got Death Knight on Anduin, Masquerade with Mirrodin, Dino on Junkrat, and Ultralisk on Kerrigan. So they indeed swapped some of the heroes around. Hazu still on the side lane for them with Tough as Nails as his level 1 choice. Over on the right side, we get Cure on Zeratul, Gia on Li Ming, Marke on Stukov, starting things out with a low blow and a lurking arm build with Max Passion playing Varian, and Skog is playing a Hogger. Alright, Q actually had to restart his client real quickly. Apparently had some ping problems or a big spike happening, so he had to restart real quickly, and now we're good to go. They don't have to play with the Zeratul bot. That would be the worst case scenario. You can actually imagine that in the grand final, you all of a sudden are missing a player, and it's just like, well, gotta play with the Zeratul bot. What could go wrong? What is going wrong at the beginning is Varian instantly getting killed. Yeah, so that is first blood for the Bratwurst boys, and Ultralisk can maybe redeem himself a bit with Kerrigan. It's honestly a bit weird. When he was playing in Meta Madness, his Maiev was absolutely crushing everything left, right, and center. And his Kerrigan felt a bit off. I don't know if it was with the team, if it was anything else, but matter of fact, Ultralisk looked a bit iffy with Kerrigan in those games. So if he can now come in and get back to a true Ultralisk form and pull it off again, that would be great. But he's already starting to be in trouble as he's getting attacked and he nearly gets killed. Now it works up nicely for them because Cure was trying to drop him and instead he gets murdered. But you could already see that Ultralisk just like going full on ham here nearly led to his death. But essentially, right now, everything's fine. They have 2 kills to 0. They're also going very quickly for their own camps here. So as far as early games go, this is solid. Spray game is on point. We now get slowly the first camps on the map, the first objective getting announced, level 4 talent starting to kick in to finally turn Varian into a real hero, because as you can see here, he's just an oversized minion. Essentially all that he is another XP source. Yeah, a little bit more experience than you get for one of the frontliners, and that's it. But poor Varian is just getting absolutely crushed. That's 3 kills to 0 already, and an entire 1 level lead. So, a bit too easy. There's Taunt as usual. Yeah, so nicely done, and we get the Triumvirate for Li Ming. And Zeratul is dead too. Damn, boys, seriously. You do understand that the goal is not to be the first team to 10 deaths or anything like that, right? So 4 kills to 0. That is starting to get a bit worrisome. Even in the early game, where those kills don't give a whole lot of experience and don't matter too much with the low death timers, you gotta be careful that you're not overdoing it. Losing 4 heroes just like that is definitely not a good sign. Hoggar's trying to retake at the top. Sonya is channeling in the middle, and that's a Dragon Knight. Yep, Dragon Knight number 1, 2 minutes and 40 seconds in. Obviously, still a little bit weak. Highly unlikely to do too much damage here, but as long as you're playing around the Dragon's Breath, you're gonna be fine. That's honestly when you're doing a lot of work with this. When you can start to burn everything down. It's not really the auto attacks at the beginning that are the biggest problem, it's really the Dragon's Breath that is coming in over and over again. And they're doing pretty okay here. The rotation is now opening up some space at the bottom of the map, but the hit points are dropping quickly whenever the decay is attacked, and that's the bigger issue. So, good value for the first decay, honestly. Breaking through that gate is the most that you can, theoretically, that you can realistically accomplish, if you're honest about it. Can take a couple of minion waves down with the Dragon's Breath, and that's about it. So, they're not going to be too unhappy with the development here. Level 7 has a talent advantage, so obviously need to. They broke 2 walls down thanks to that decay. Yeah, here's the taunt. Trying to go for Masquerade, and Andun just says, no, not today, and simply pulls the target out. It's kind of hilarious to me still that Anduin is one of the best counters, so to say, against Varian and that taunt. It's just a thing. So, yeah. In the middle, they're still trying to be aggressive. Obviously, it's a pretty dangerous front line to run into. You have Muradin with stuns, Kerrigan with stuns, good damage coming out of Hazorps and his Sonya, and they are still ahead by roughly half a level. And Ultralisk becomes a target. I mean, they're always trying to go for Ultralisk and take him down quickly once that Kerrigan is removed. That's a lot of the threat evaporating. Even with the kills that they got, the experience is not that crazy. Down here, they were hoping to get the camp, but there's the rotation. And there's the kill. Finally, a first blood for the Swedes. Taking Junkrat down. He's definitely a little bit weak in the hit point department, and that got immediately exploited by his opponents. So, well, as this all continues, we still have a chance at the bot lane to maybe take that camp eventually. I mean, not quite right now, but yeah. Question is still who's walking away with that. I believe one of the minions has already been taken out. Yep. So they only have 3 more to go through, but nobody is willing to commit to it properly. Now that the red team is starting to move back down, they might actually be the ones after defending to go for it. That would also set them up with a double camp if they find the time to claim it. But it doesn't look likely because the blue team is already back in position. Sonya is going for her own spin to win at the top left as she's going for the bruiser camp. So she's getting that too. And, well, down here, we still have the fight for the Shrine continuing. Top side, we've already seen Hoggar take over. Might of the Nerazim is now in. And again, Zeratul gets blown out of the waters. Insta Riptire kill. That taunt from Varian, I highly question the timing. Because even with Li Ming there and the follow-up, this put Max Passion into way more danger than anything else. So, yeah. Big leap, big stun, big kill. They're way past the fort now, trying to get more damage in. Skog on Hogger, Max Passion switched over to Varian, so they switched roles slightly to playing the heroes. And Death Knight is dead. The problem is that Li Ming is also gone. So in comes Zeratul. They're obviously trying to rush away here. Hogger gets attacked as he's trying to go for a kill. It's just a bloodbath. They're turning Dragon Shire into a graveyard. Zeratul came, saw, and died again. Veni, Vidi, BG, and Muradin is also gone. So is Varian. At the end of the day, it's 10 kills to 3. And an absolute disaster for the Swedes. So it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. Azobs is trying to get away. Mugger with a big arm, slapping him around a bit. But boy, oh boy, is that a game. That bot line battle was just ridiculous. 17,000 damage for Li Ming, 20,000 for Junkrat. Zeratul alone has already died 4 times. That's one of the big risks that you take if you go for Zeratul when you're Cure. Obviously, there is a bit of a ping disadvantage for him playing cross-server from North America. It's not insane. It's not like you can't play the game, but there's a reason why you normally see him on side laners like Urel, like Blaze. Those are heroes that are a bit more forgiving with some of their timing. If you go into a highly reactive hero like Zeratul, it can very quickly backfire. He did it very well when he played in one of the previous series. I believe it was an Alt-Direct Pass with Zeratul. But in this game, at least, he is dying a lot in the early stages. So that might change as the game continues. Another leap stun, and the follow-up murders Hogger. It's another quick kill that they're getting, and it's level 13 that they, of course, can enjoy because of that. There's an attempt to go for the bottom shrine, I suppose, from Varian, but if they really quickly start channeling the Dragon Knight now, they can't get it. Varian is there in time. Varian is there in time. Death Knight is not even trying. But there's another jump. Stormbolt. Riptire attempt. And not enough for a kill. But they got close. So. 11 kills to 3. Level 13 is coming up soon for the red team. It allows Sonya, as everybody down at the bottom of the map is currently going for camps. It allows Sonya to get more damage in up here. But with these leap and stun comms, it's a bit of an issue. Once again, another jump. But can he maybe now go for Muradin? Gets taunted, and Anduin is again ready for action. Pulls the target out. A big poke from Hogger. Light bomb. Another leap. And goodbye, Zeratul. Yep. Cure does not have a good time here. Hogger has also been obliterated by Kerrigan in this case. They're now going for Max Passion, and he is max dead instead. Masquerade is still chasing. They're hoping for another stun. There's the jump. Holds it back a little bit. Stormbolt connects. Dragonite is taken. Macke in the corner. And with a quick spear connect from Hazorps, they're ending the life of Stukov. The Admiral definitely gonna get demoted here. Stormbolt against Gia misses. They're more helping Li Ming than hurting her here, but it still doesn't mean anything because there's another fort at the top side that's going to get destroyed. They have a 2-level lead. It's nearly 3 levels. Dragonite is at the bottom of the map, opening the wall up, and in the middle another fort is not only exposed but will also get dropped. So yes, they're taking all the structures out. Everything is getting destroyed now. And they have level 13, which is going to put Anduin in an even better position as he's just trying to deny any kill from here on out to the Swedes. Double pullout, Anduin turning into the pullout king with the leap of faith and glyph of faith. And we get also the spread volley. But all of the outer ring of defense is now gone. And it's another combo against Varian. Stun, 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 stun. Literally can take his hands off the keyboard at that point in time because there's just nothing that he can do. Combo attempts by Ultralis, jumps in, jumps out. Cure gets rooted, tries to get out, light bomb, and is dead again. They're farming him. They're absolutely farming him. The Bratwurst boys, they go through the Swedes like hot butter through cheese once again, melting them like ice cream in the sun. They're 15 kills ahead now, and at the 10-minute mark, we see them go for a Li Ming kill, and it is just utter carnage as they are going for the keep. Honestly, if we would be a bit later in the game, they would instantly go for core here, but the death timers are not low enough yet. Instead, they want to have another kill against Stukov. They get it. Masquerade is dying fittingly to the keep. But yes, that's 20 kills now for them. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Keep in the middle has taken that. No! Don't. No. Stop. Stop. They're already dead. Don't. No. Just don't. Oh, if you have kids in the room, then please remove them from the screens right now. If they are psychologically scarred for the rest of their life, I'm not taking any responsibility. I mean, yeah, what we are seeing right here is not legal in so many states. It's just bananas. So, the red team, what can they essentially do now? It's honestly, they're getting level 16, 2 levels behind. If they somehow can force a couple of fights at level 16, maybe they got a chance to win a team fight, but even then it's only going to be the first step for them. So we get Mirror Ball, we have a Master Warblade, and well, let's see what exactly they can do for now. 21 to 4 kills. It's not been going too well. And Marcus now all the way at the front. I think they've kind of given up. I mean, I think at this point they've kind of given up a little bit. There's obviously a couple of traps that are being laid out too. But Marke is now going to likely die up at the top if they really want him. Hazops could always leap in. Here comes Max Passion, just saying hello in the bush. Haz is just completely AFK here. I'm not quite sure what kind of agreement exists. Apparently it's a healer battle that everybody is watching. Death Knight against Marke. Yep, Zeratul dies against Junkrat. They're going to play healer versus healer, and Marke is already starting to retreat. So, yeah, it seems pretty obvious that this is not going to end well. The red team, they have accepted fate. They know what's going on. I just wait for them to betray Anduin and just everybody just slapping him down. But it's healer versus healer. It's healer versus healer that it decides who's going to win it. It's like back then when you're playing football with your friends. It's like last goal decides the game. Last goal decides it. We're 10 goals ahead, but last goal decides it. So, still Death Knight against Marke. Light Bomb! Dragon Knight has been taken. Can he get the kill? There's the root. Death Knight! Anduin, is he going to be useful? The slap and Marke dies. Anduin is the stronger support. It's been confirmed. Finally, bottom keep. That's where it already gets attacked. Yep, the Swedes, they just accepted what's happening here. 23 kills to 5. Core is getting attacked by catapults. Liming is gone. Dragon Knight is up at the top. They go through the bridge of death. And this is going to end the game eventually. And even some catapults, look at that. They went past the siege giants. What is happening here? Is it my birthday? Damn. That's the first time that I've seen that. Did those catapults finally get intelligent, or what's going on here? So 31% on the core, and now with the Dragon Knight they can come in. It is the Bratwurst boys, ladies and gentlemen, a 3-0 victory as they claim the title in the second qualifier of the Banshee Cup. Nicely done, congratulations, and a well-deserved victory.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.